Breaking news, another CRJ crash, but this time in Toronto. What we know on this episode of Taking Off. Hi, I'm Dan Milliken, and breaking news out of Toronto, Canada. On February 17th, today, 2025, at 2:45 p.m. local time, a CRJ 900 has crashed on landing at the Toronto Pearson International Airport. Early reports indicate that all 80 passengers and crew are accounted for, and more reports on the injuries in a moment. As you can tell, I'm on the road here, but I want to get this report out to you as quick as possible for the breaking news. All right, so let's get to it. The aircraft is a CRJ 900 operated by Endeavour Air with the call sign Delta Lima 4819, registration November 932 X-ray Juliet. It was taking passengers from Minneapolis, Minnesota to Toronto. The flight lasted just over an hour and a half, and weather conditions at Toronto were reported as winds from 270 from the west at 27 knots, gusting to 35 knots, with temperatures around minus 8 degrees Celsius, with 8 kilometers or just shy of 5 statute miles visibility. The ATIS, or Automatic Terminal Information Service weather, at the time reported the runway conditions to be 555 or condition 5 in both the touchdown, the midway, and the end of the runway. Runway conditions are organized from 0 to 6, with 0 being the worst and 6 being the best. In this case, the conditions reported including 1/8 inch or less of snow, with the runway width being reduced by 1/4 of its width, with the snow on top of compacted snow on the edges of the runway. The CRJ 900 shot the ILS for runway 23, and after landing, the aircraft flipped over, snapping off its wings and tail. And the aircraft did briefly catch fire, as you can see from the burnt tail section. After coming to rest upside down, the passengers and the crew were able to get out safely with, miraculously, only 18 injuries, 2 critical, one's being reported a child, but not life-threatening, according to Peel Regional Police. When you see the footage, again, it's a miracle that it's not worse. And why it flipped will be the focus on the investigation, and they'll be looking at the wind gust at the time of the landing. Landing runway 23 is a heading of 230. The wind being 270, that's a 40-degree crosswind. Airplanes and airlines have hard minimums for gusting winds, and we don't know what Endeavour's maximum crosswind component for their CRJ 900 is, but I'm sure that's going to come out. Dramatic footage taken from a passenger just moments after exiting the aircraft show the CRJ on its back with passengers being helped out of the aircraft. First responders quickly arrived on the scene, and fire trucks can be seen spraying onto the aircraft as passengers are helped to safety. And if you hear no noise, I got Chewy back there. We were able to pull the ATC audio from the tower controller, and you'll hear the tower controller clear the aircraft to land, and you'll hear how the tower controller responds when the airplane flips.
Toronto Tower, Endeavour 4819, I'm back. That was 23.
Endeavour 4819, Toronto Tower, wind 27023, gust 33, clear to land on rate 23. You might get a slight bump in the glide path. There'll be an aircraft in front of it.
Clear to land, 23, Endeavour 4819.
We're 7105, pull up, go around.
The go around, 715.
This airplane just crashed at 23. We're 7105, pull up, go around. Mike Tango Medevac, you can just stay there.
Mike Tango Medevac.
7105, stop time 3000.
This is the second CRJ to crash in the past month, with the first being, of course, the American Airlines accident in Washington, D.C., which we have covered extensively here on this channel. The CRJ is a regional jet manufactured by Bombardier, designed to accommodate around 76 to 90 passengers, depending on the seating configuration. It's powered by two General Electric CF34, the 8C5 turbofan engines, which provide the necessary thrust for its operations on short to medium haul routes. With a typical cruising speed of approximately 515 miles per hour or 478 knots and a range of about 1,500 to 2,000 nautical miles, the aircraft is used by various regional carriers to connect smaller airports to the major hubs. The CRJ 900 features a narrow fuselage with a 2-seat by 2-seat arrangement in the main cabin, and it has a T-tail design, which is characteristic of the CRJ series, with the engines mounted to the side of the tail. Its avionics suite traditionally includes the Collins Proline 4 or Proline Fusion flight deck, depending on the model and the upgrades. The aircraft has a relatively long, slender profile with wing-mounted winglets to help improve fuel efficiency, aerodynamic efficiency. The CRJ 900 is a stretched version of the CRJ 700, which is the same aircraft type in the DC accident. The stretched version offers increased passengers, usually about 11 to 25 more passengers, depending on the configuration, and it has improved fuel efficiency per seat for the 900 over the 700. The 700 was first flown in 1999 and had its first commercial flight in 2001. The CRJ 900 has an excellent safety record with only 2 hull losses and 0 fatalities since being released in 2003. In a statement sent to Newsweek, the FAA said Delta Airlines Flight 4819, operated by Endeavour Air, crashed while landing at Toronto Pearson International Airport in Canada around 2:45 p.m. local time on Monday, February 17th. The CRJ departed Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada will be in charge of the investigation and will provide any updates. The National Transportation Safety Board, the NTSB, has announced the NTSB is leading a team of U.S. investigators to assist the Transportation Safety Board of Canada with their investigation of today's accident of a Delta Airlines Bombardier CRJ 900 at Toronto Pearson International Airport. Per international protocols under the International Civil Aviation Organization Annex 13, any information about the investigation will be released by the Transportation Safety Board of Canada. So the Canadian inspectors will be in charge of this one. Our prayers go out to those injured by this accident, and we hope a full recovery for everybody. We're extremely grateful that everyone made it out alive. We also want to thank the quick action by the first responders who put out that fire before it really became a huge issue. Now, people have been asking me if there's a dramatic increase in airplane crashes. My friends and family have asked me that quite a bit just over the last few weeks. And what I can say is that the Washington, D.C. crash was the first one in the U.S. with mass fatalities in almost 15 years since Colgan. And with the speed of social media, we are hearing about every single incident. And I hope we can take away the need to keep improving our aviation safety. Remember, it's still true today. Flying in airplanes is for sure still safer than jumping in your car and going down the highway. And that's it. Thanks to our sponsors like 67 Designs. My camera right here is being held in place by a 67 Designs mount. U.S. made and super high quality. Check them out at 67d.com. And our other sponsors are in the description below. If you want to catch our other update, check it out right here. Thanks for bearing with me on the video quality since I'm not at the studio and I'm on the road. But we did want to get this report out. So take care, and remember, superior judgment trumps superior skills. See you later.